I saw a movie so you wouldn't have to. And friends, I'm not going to hide anything behind the headline. I'm going to say you probably don't want to. Take the opportunity to save some money and go see Monsters and Minions next weekend. There. Holy waste of time, Batman. At an hour and 47 minutes, this film was too long, too boring, and too contrived to even possibly exist in what we should be in a golden age of film and storytelling. And we're not. It's obvious. So, here we go. Now, before we get started, just a real quick reminder, I am trying to get to 50K. That would be great. Double check you're still subscribed. If you are, that's great. Double check that the bell icon says all notifications or whatever it is, preferred or feed or whatever. They changed all the language. And then give me some comments down in the comments section below. Don't miss the thumbs up button. And we're already well on our way to Supergirl. This, of course, is a moment in the film that I actually created, but it's definitely going to feel like this was the moment. Look, she gets her power from a yellow sun, and she gets nothing from the red sun, which allows her to get, hammered drunk. But she always recharges and gets out of her drunken stupor hangover by going and getting some yellow sun activity. And look, I get it. This is a messy 18-year-old, actually 23-year-old in the film that is really not dealing with anything with any emotional maturity. She has not processed her trauma. You can tell this was written by an inexperienced writer, an actress by the name of Anna Nagira. This is her first film credit, and you can see that there. There is not a lot of weight on this. This is a writing project you would have been handed in high school trying to develop a 3-act play, or in this case, a screenplay. And again, this is a traveling contrivance show that moves from one contrivance to another. And the main problem I have with this is the consistent and constant use of a McGuffin, or a McMuffin if you prefer, and in this case that's Krypto. And just like what Gunn gave us with Guardians of the Galaxy 3, that's the impetus from the beginning of the film to the end. Let's save Krypto's life. And look, I'm sorry, spoilers aplenty, because there's not much to spoil. If you've seen all of the trailers, the clips, the teasers, all of that stuff, especially on YouTube or any other video platform or X, you've seen the movie. The majority of the film has already been shown to you, at least the interesting parts. And the tag-along little girl that we are introduced to at the beginning of the film is a babysitting side quest that constantly just won't go away. It's like being followed around by one of the Toadstool people in a Legend of Zelda game, and not a good one. And it's frustrating, it's infuriating, it's tiring. I mean, I've got a lot of other adjectives, but I just feel like they're not going to do it justice. And I've got to say this, Carara as a character could have worked. It's possible even that Milly Alcock could have played that character and done so very well. But she's never given the chance. In fact, the audience isn't even given a chance to appreciate what performance she may have been able to deliver. There are several pointless moments in this film that really don't convey much of a story. And the final act contrivance, in order to give the sidekick babysitter quest a feeling of, doing something substantial in the film, basically finds Carara in a cave with a green sun that acts kind of like kryptonite to her, and it has an oscillating star as well that is of course, yellow sun. Her babysitting quest person sticks her in the cave while the green sun is out, and it's just too, because plot said so. In fact, you might hear this in a lot of other places, but this is a film based on and then. It's like somebody wrote an improv trauma movie and put like Larry David in charge of it, only not with good improv actors and not with good situations. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this as strongly as possible. Jason Momoa as Lobo makes perfect sense. He was born to play the character. He does a beautiful job of it, and I appreciated the brief periods of time we got to spend with him. The same goes with David Corenswet, who seems to have grown more into the role, but wasn't allowed enough time to add depth. Well, I don't think there was a lot of depth to Lobo either. And the storytelling around this, where the women are all taken captive so that they can expand their men's only society, isn't on the nose at all. This is a 100% feminist fest that just reeks of desperation for somebody to love it. And that just didn't seem to work. I didn't find anything in this movie that you haven't seen before, sometimes even done better. And what is there left to say? Kara could have been a great character with the right story. Even Milly Alcock doesn't destroy it as much as you would think, and I didn't find her performance all that objectionable, just incredibly shallow. Because we're still at a point now where people are going to view this and go, what a waste. And considering this, that when this film was originally written, it was written with a different Supergirl in mind, played by the other actress that had played Supergirl before. And repurposing that and changing it up and adding other characters to add interest was really the only chance it was going to have. And once again, I'm going to suggest this. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments below, but I think that this actress that was hired to write this was 100% just there as a figurehead. It reeked of James Gunn, and so did the direction. In fact, it felt so much like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 that it was a beat-for-beat repeat. And look, the cast, as I said before, didn't even get utilized to the best of the extent they could have possibly done. And honestly, that's sad. And because of the inexperience of the writer, which you can tell, the dialogue's terrible. There are attempts at Joss Whedon jokes, Marvel jokes that failed to land, just like they haven't landed very well in Marvel recently, to exploit the pathos of it all. But because it doesn't land, it's not interesting, and nobody laughs, and it doesn't help the tone of the film, which is already outright sad. And it's not attempting to be sad on purpose. It's just sad that you have to sit there for as long as you do to get anywhere in this movie. And that's the other problem. It was incredibly, terribly boring. I'm still angry because of the Krypto setup time clock thing. You have 3 days to get the antidote so that the dog doesn't die. And I'm thinking, well, just take the dog up towards a yellow sun. It's a super dog. I think it'll be fine. And same thing with Kara, who discovers she can kick out any kind of thing that's a poison, like kryptonite, by just going and soaking up some more yellow sun. I really had a huge problem with the way this film kind of rolled out, and the fact that the only good fight scene in it is right at the end. It's also the only thing you can see. If you've had other people tell you that there's really nothing but darkness in this film, they're not lying. In fact, I think a lot of people have said it was basically a backlit film, which I could believe because at times I couldn't really tell all of the details that was going on in front of me, especially in the fight scenes. And they even hide one of the fight scenes in the bar, which you guys have seen already in one of the clips, where people are being tossed around, but you don't get to see them being tossed around by the little girl, who certainly doesn't look like she can do much. Very accommodating stuntman, as Critical Drinker would say. And to all the people out there that say, go see this movie for yourself, well, they don't value your time or your money very much, and I think that's very disappointing. I'm going to give this probably one of the lowest ratings I've handed out this year. This thing is a 4 out of 10 at best. It didn't entertain me. It left me bored. The story is incomprehensible at times. There's no through line in any way other than we need to get from this plot point to this plot point, as disjointed as they are. And that's it. And as I mentioned before, at an hour and 47 minutes, this thing was blessingly short. As far as I know, there wasn't any after credits or post credit scenes or mid credit scenes or anything else, but I wouldn't know. Because much like Disclosure Day, I was at the bottom of the stairs before the credits had hit the top of the screen. And that's how bad this was. with 17 other people in this cinema that normally holds over 400. My guess is that this film is going to perform even worse than I said or thought in yesterday's video, which was 39 million. If this thing makes 39 million, it's a blessing, but only for James Gunn and not for anybody who went to see it, because I think you'll be very disappointed. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the film for the day. Supergirl, a 4 out of 10. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. And as always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya. But hopefully, not at this movie. Yikes.